Well, we had what we called private impound tows. In other words, people were parked wrong in an apartment complex or something, and they want cars towed out. And they used to do that. They'd go and say, "Okay, come over this morning, and I have 7 tagged cars that I want you to tow all at once." So you just tow them out of there, and then they get it over with. So we didn't have anybody available, and they called and said, "Okay, we've got to do these tows." So I went and got all my yard guys. Most of them were, I think most of them were Hispanic and spoke Spanish and stuff, and that's the other reason we didn't always send them, because they couldn't always communicate. They usually understood what you said, but they couldn't communicate very well. And also a dispatcher from, I forgot that there was a dispatcher from the evening shift came in early, and I got him to get a truck because he was an old tow guy. So we took 4 trucks over there, and we could get all the cars because you take 2 on a flatbed. And so we pulled in. It was kind of like a old motel that had been turned into a apartment complex, and but it had parking in the middle, and it was kind of like a thing around. And it had, I remember it had walkways above and walkways underneath these poles coming down. And so one guy went in and spotted where the cars were and stuff. He has the list. The lady had signed all the things. So he went in, and somebody saw us out there, and they let a dog loose. And so the one guy that was the dispatcher the dog was chasing him, so the car he was going to tow, he jumped in the car he was going to tow. The door was open, luckily. He jumped in, and then the dog was barking, and we said, "Get out the other side." So he got out the other side, and the dog went around. Then one of the Mexicans chased him, got him to chase him over there, and so that was that big hullabaloo going on. And the other guys were loading up the cars, and then I said, "Well, okay, we got them all?" And because there were some of them there were 2 guys on one truck, because they just to help, because they were not right-away towers. And they said, "Well, there's this motorcycle here chained at this post. Does anybody have any bolt cutters? We have to get they keep chaining that motorcycle out in front of this post, and they want it out of here. They've given him 10 warnings or something. So does anybody have any bolt cutters?" And nobody was in their own truck, so nobody had bolt cutters or anything. And I went over there and I looked, and it wasn't really chained. The chain was just wrapped around and looped and hooked. And I said, "Oh, wait a minute. This isn't really chained. We don't need bolt cutters, so let's undo it." And then if we just scoot the motorcycle because he couldn't roll the wheels. And just then the door opened to the apartment. It was right by the person's front door, and this lady came out and she said, "That's my husband's motorcycle." "Yes, it's been parked here." And we get, "Well, he'll be very unhappy." "Yeah, he can pick it up right down at the mortuary, right down at the tow company, and here's my card and everything. And he'll want to talk to you." I said, "Well, go get him. Let's have him talk to me." This big old guy comes out. He was probably 6'5", real broad shoulders and tattoos all over, and the typical motorcycle guy. And I thought, "Oh man, I can't show any fear at all." And he said, "That's my motorcycle. You better leave it there." And I said, "I'm sorry. I've got the signed slip already. I have to take it, and you can pick it up down at the tow company, or you can pay an off-hook fee." "Well, I don't have any money." I said, "Well, then we're going to have to take your motorcycle. I'm sorry, but we're taking it right now." And I just was standing right there. And he took a step forward. I said, "You better not step forward here. We're taking this motorcycle, whether you like it or not. Sorry." So they took a step back, looked at me, and okay, closed the door. So we went, and I said, "Man, I'm the tough guy, This guy's bigger than I am," and I stood up to him. And I turned around, and all of the Mexican guys were behind me. All the guys were there except for the dispatcher. He was still over loading up the dog car. and they all had their knives out. So he was afraid of them, not me. And I'll never forget that. They were all backing me up. I had a good relationship with all, but that was cool. But we got the motorcycle, and I think the guy came and got it a week later. But and that apartment manager was very happy because they had other people that they hadn't been able to get the cars. But we did it.